Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sprechen Disc Golf, the most reliable Pro Tour focused podcast. As always, I am your host, Zachary Coleman, and we have a great episode on hand for you guys. We are once again doubling up. We are doing the Des Moines Challenge recap, and then on top of that, we will be hitting the Preserve preview coming up this weekend, so you won't want to miss it. Some great stuff in this one. If you haven't already, go check us out on Twitter and Instagram. We're most active on Twitter, kind of talking about the events as they happen. So go check us out, SDG on Twitter, or SprechenDG on Twitter. SDG or SprechenDG, I can't exactly remember right now, but yeah, go check us out. I think it's SprechenDG, I believe. Yeah. So go check us out there. And go check out some of our other episodes if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the results from earlier this year, or if you want to go way back, you can check out my predictions, kind of see how they're holding up. Maybe I'll do a check-in episode here soon and kind of see how we're doing so far. So getting right into it, though, we are going to start with DMC, or the Des Moines Challenge. Took place over the weekend. On FPO, we had 3 rounds being played, whereas on MPO, we only had 2 due to severe weather in the area. The FPO was able to start their first round on Saturday, or start their second round on Saturday, and then they finished that round Sunday morning and then played their third round immediately after. So they were able to fit in all 3 rounds. MPO was not quite as fortunate due to the severe weather. They weren't really able to start off their round on Saturday, so the Pro Tour and I agree thought it was best just to cancel round 2 and cancel the Saturday round and make it a 2-round tournament. So but that being said, on MPO we had Gannon Buhr take it down with Isaac Robinson, Calvin Heimberg, Greg Barsby, and Gavin Babcock rounding out the podium. Isaac took solo second, while those 3 other guys tied for third. On FPO, we had Kristen Tatar take it down with Missy Gannon in second, and then another 3-way tie for third. We had Stacy Ronsley, Macy Villadiaz, and Jennifer Allen all coming into the podium in third. Going through kind of this event and some implications, and just kind of talking about what happened. Gannon Buhr picked up his second elite win of the year, his other one, of course, being in the Open at Austin. This was a good event for Gannon. This is his home state of Iowa. You could tell that he had the fans on his side. He was with a good friend of his, Gavin Babcock, on the lead card. It was really set up for Gannon to win this one, and he did a great job at capitalizing on it. It moves him closer to Calvin Heimberg in the Pro Tour points. I'm not sure what's going on UDisc here. They have Calvin and only gaining 10 points from that event, so I'm not really sure why it's showing like that. So it currently says they're only 118 points apart now. I don't believe that to be correct, because Calvin picked up 67 points from that one, so not really sure. It might be because I think I understand. Calvin now has an event dropped. He's now okay. So Calvin dropped 57 points from the OTB Open, where he got 6th place. Picked up 67 at DMC, so it dropped OTB, netting him 10 points. Gannon had already dropped an event. He had dropped because he had played an extra silver and some other stuff. So he had already dropped his events. So Gannon is actually not as far behind Calvin as we might believe, because he's been able to drop some of his farther down finishes. And Calvin has yet to kind of drop them. So not necessarily as big of a gap if Gannon can kind of continue to put up these podiums. But Gannon played a great tournament. Going into Sunday, you kind of felt like it was all set up for Gannon to win. He's a fantastic player. You had a couple guys a few strokes behind, but it was going to be hard to really chase him down. It was so windy, and he played really solid. Made himself a tough target. So some really great putting from Gannon, some great throw. I mean, he was just all around very solid this weekend. So a couple of some unlucky strokes in the final round too. He probably could have won by a little more had he not gotten a few breaks here and there that kind of cost him. So In second place, we got Isaac Robinson, who really needed to put more pressure on Burr. So Isaac was kind of leading the charge there for a bit. Looked like he might be the one to set that big clubhouse number. Ended up taking a big number on 18. Didn't really pick up birdies where you need a birdie, and really a big bummer that he wasn't able to kind of put in a better finishing stretch to really put the pressure on Gannon. But once Isaac tapped in on 18, it was essentially Gannon's to lose because I believe he was already above him, so he just needed to not bogey or anything like that. I mean, still a good event from Isaac, but I think Isaac is going to be losing sleep over this one a little bit over what could have been after really putting himself in a good spot on the last few holes there. So bummer for Isaac, but we know he won't stay down for too long. He is too good of a player to kind of be affected by that much. So in third place, we had Calvin Heiberg. Another solid event from Calvin. Too much OB the final round, but he had some really nice shots. He was 100% circle one final round, which is very impressive considering how bad the weather was. And we will, I don't doubt we're going to continue to see Calvin just do his thing. Probably could have won this one if he needed to put in a few more shots on the first round. But overall, Gannon won this one. Calvin didn't lose it in that kind of sense, and I don't think Calvin's gonna be too disappointed with this tournament result. Another podium, another solid finish, some nice putts made and everything. So positive overall. Another big positive on the year is these other two guys, Greg Barsby and Gavin Babcock, both picking up their first tournament podiums, or first Pro Tour podiums of the year. Greg started the day with a triple bogey on hole 1, but with some massive putts was able to work himself back up to the podium spots. Really good fight from the savvy veteran there. We would see some younger guys potentially get their heads down, give up, blow up a little bit, but Greg realized that there was still definitely something to play for and was able to fight back completely into that podium spot. So, and then Gavin Babcock got his first Pro Tour podium. He did get a podium at a major, but that is not the Pro Tour, so first Pro Tour podium, I believe, but just really couldn't handle the moment of the final day lead card. Just saw too many mistakes from him, let Gannon get a little too far away, and then it was over for him from there. But overall, good job for Gavin for getting onto that podium, kind of breaking through there. And Gavin is a guy who is clearly very athletic. He wrestled in college. He's from Iowa and everything. And you feel like the game is all ahead of Gavin right now. Like, I feel like he could be a player similar to Calvin, where we see him maybe start to kind of really hit his stride, maybe more toward his mid-20s, kind of really hit that kind of peak there. He hasn't been playing as long as some of the other guys, so if we could really get Gavin, I think get some of his game kind of polished out, he could be a really, really good player. But he has a nice, powerful putt, nice, powerful forehand. He's kind of got all the tools, and he has the athleticism to really excel in this game going forward. So on FPO, Kristen Tarr, I don't even need to say much. I mean, she's having one of the most dominant seasons we've ever seen. Never really looked like she was nervous. 6-stroke win overall, and just a great event from her. Missy Gannon, another kind of lonely race in second place there. Another solid finish for Missy, kind of waiting for her to get that win this year at the Elite Series level. If you go and look at the point standings, Missy Gannon is pushed up into second place now, and she's had a really solid stretch of finishes in the top 10 here, but she's just not been able to put together that win that we know she has. We've seen her win some big events. I'm looking for Missy to get back up onto the top spot on the podium. Stacy Ronsley, Cast a Plas shout out. She shot a really nice 6-down second round, able to pick up her first DGPT podium. A really nice putt on, I believe it was hole 15, or it might not have been 15, but really nice circle 2 putt to, kind of swing the momentum after a few rough stretch of holes. And congrats to her on her first ever Pro Tour podium. Macy Valdiaz played some really nice consistent golf. Again, the first round was really nice conditions, so a nice first round followed by 2 solid rounds after that put her on the podium. something to hang her hat on for Macy to kind of keep the nerve together this weekend for another podium on the Pro Tour here. And then Jennifer Allen, I think Jennifer Allen's going to be disappointed she wasn't able to push for second or take solo third. She had some big putting woes, which is kind of the story of her events that really cost her opportunities. But overall, great weekend throwing the discs, one of the most talented throwers in the sport. If she could really clean it up on the putting green, obviously she would have a little bit more success, but nothing wrong with a podium for Jen Allen. Some other storylines from the event: we had Yuli get his best finish of the year at 12th. As well as Valerie Mandujano sneaking into that tie for 6th place. We'd love to see her kind of recovering from that injury. Looks like there will be a kind of short little docu-series about her on the Pro Tour network, something to do with her recovering from her injury. So thought it was a little bit weird that she was getting this little docu-series that didn't maybe it was her injury was a bigger deal than I realized, but it's kind of funny that something that it kept her out for a good chunk of the season, but doesn't feel like it's so devastating we need a big little documentary about it. But their money, their thing, teach their own, I guess. Jumping over to Europe, Paul McBeth loses to Bradley Williams at the Krokel Open over there in Norway. Bradley Williams is no slouch of a player, but if you're Paul McBeth, you're a few events into that European swing and you haven't had the time you wanted to, right? Getting 31st at the Estonian Open, coming back and winning, and then going to Konopiste, not winning. You expect maybe I can get a win, but then Bradley Williams comes over and gets a win there. Paul needs to pick it up, not just for the sake of my entertainment, but for the sake of, I'm sure, his own sanity. If he really needs to start putting wins in the win column here, more than one, because I think when he gets back and he looks back and he only has one win, I think he's going to be real upset at kind of how his trip went in terms of disc golf. So look for him to. Let me see what his next. Let's see what his next event is, because, I know he's staying over in Europe, but I wonder kind of what he's doing until then. Let's see. Upcoming events, the Swedish Open. Oh, gosh, yeah, he still has 4 European events, including the PCS Open, which is a Pro Tour now, and then the European Open, which is a major, but still 4 events over in Europe. So not all is lost. If he gets 2 wins out of these last 4, maybe the Pro Tour and then one of the other European tours, I think he'll be feeling all right. So a big storyline: Paul McBeth and Dylan Cease recently purchased the Throw Down the Mountain course down in Florida. They are now being sued, or their entity that they created to purchase the course, I think it's called McCease or something like that, is being sued for negligence after the owner of a local store down there was hit during a tournament with a disc. Now, I was going into this and I was thinking, all right, I got to be impartial. I got to just tell the story how it is, let the law kind of work this out. I have now seen enough extenuating circumstances surrounding the character who got hit that I feel comfortable adding some commentary to it. While it sounds like the Throw Down the Mountain course does provide some danger to players in terms of blind shots, in terms of high to low, this guy who is suing sounds like a real piece of work. It sounds like he is notorious in the area for being pretty shady when it comes to selling merchandise, when it comes to dealing with distributors. Sounds like he is not a good figure for the disc golf community. He is claiming something like permanent disfigurement, mental strain, something like that, in his lawsuit. And yet apparently he came out and won a B tier the next weekend. So pretty tough for a guy with this really heavy medical injury or this medical occurrence to go out and just win a B tier. Then wow, what a performance. But no, we've seen a review from Nico LaCastro 9 months ago come to light about this guy stealing large sums of money from Castoplast and Clash. It sounds like he's had run-ins with lawsuits and stuff before. So as much as I would love to look at this from a more impartial sense, I couldn't read all this and then go about just being like, well, here's the facts. I don't think this guy is good for disc golf. It doesn't sound like he's good, especially for that local Florida community down there. I believe it's Charlie Goodpasture, runs another store down there. Sounds like he is an absolutely fantastic resource in that area for the disc golf community. And so I would heavily recommend going and shopping at some other places. There's some other, there's stuff floating around online about other places to shop down in that area, but it really is a bummer kind of what's going on with that. I know the Pro Tour is looking to go back to that course. I know they're looking to continue to host Throwdown the Mountain, which is a extremely, extremely popular event. Probably one of the most notorious non-Pro Tour events in the country. I mean, the only one that comes to mind is like Masters Cup is no longer Pro Tour. Memorial is no longer Pro Tour. The Majestic is another big one. But then like Throwdown the Mountain is a historic event. You got Ken Climo down in that area as well. You got some really big players down there, and I think the Pro Tour does need to go back to that Florida area. And so just all this just kind of delaying the stuff, it's clear that he doesn't really care about the actual growth of the sport. He's just trying to earn a quick buck. I'm sorry, he sounds like he got hit in the head pretty hard with the disc, but dude, you're on a disc golf course. You signed a waiver like, my car has been hit by a baseball and that broke the taillight. I didn't go and sue that kid that hit it. I'm in a baseball park. Like, of course you're gonna get hit with a disc. It happens sometimes. And this guy is no he's not a stranger to this course, right? He's a Florida native. He's big in the disc golf scene down there. Like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Why are you looking to get a quick buck off of McBeth and Dylan Cease? Like, I don't understand it. This is really tough to reconcile this with the disc golf community if you're this guy and you want to continue to run your store and you want to continue to be, a figure. I don't see how he continues to be a big figure in disc golf. And these are mutually exclusive. So that will be interesting to follow. I really hope it does get taken care of expediently, but I also don't want that guy to just get paid out, by McBeth and Cease to just go away. So we will see what happens with that. I'm sure Disc Golf Law is going to have some great stuff on it. Go check them out. They have some awesome stuff. All right. That is enough about the DMC. I'm moving on to the Preserve preview, taking place this weekend, June 30th through July 2nd. At the Preserve Black Bear course up there in Minnesota, hosted by Cale LaVisca himself. I believe he's the course property owner, maintainer, designer, some in that kind of realm. And he does a great job. It sounds like all the players really do enjoy this event. To get this kind of big crowd and big pull up into Minnesota is impressive, because Minnesota is not the most populous state, not the most attractive state in terms of getting players there, but he got everyone there that could be. So Simon and Chris Dickerson are both at the event. Eagle McMahon is registered as of the 27th, and then FPO is essentially a full field. So we're looking at a really, really great event coming up. This is one of the longer courses on tour. It is sitting at around 11,000 feet. This is a kind of big open airspace course, but you got some good water carries on there. Got some artificial OB. You got some golf bunkers to deal with. So it really does have a little bit of it all. Gonna kind of add a little bit of a new section here to our course previews. We're gonna add notable holes. So when I think about this course, two of the holes that stand out to me are hole 10, which is that kind of slight turn to the right Annie Island hole, the one with the big wall made out of those pavers. We've seen quite a few guys hit the front of that wall. It's really difficult to park this shot. Green is fast. You don't want to come up too short and hit the wall. You don't want to go long and have a death putt. That really is a make or break hole where, you're going to go into that hole with 3 or 4 guys in contention, and then you're going to leave that hole with like 2 or 1. it really does kind of, it's a great field separator, especially on moving day and championship Sunday. And I think it does a great job doing what it's designed to do, coming right in the smack dab middle of the round. So I think that one's great. The other one is hole 18, which is an eagleable par 5. Players have to initially cross the water. The more aggressive they get, the better their second shot into the green will be. They have to go with another large carry and then land onto a green surrounded by spectators. It is eagleable distance-wise. We've seen many guys do it. 2 years ago, I believe it came down to, or a few years ago now, but it came down to hole 18. You had Simon, Calvin, I don't remember if James was tied, and Nico all tied, I believe, going into that final hole. Surprisingly enough, Nico got the eagle and he ended up taking down the event. So we've seen some really good finishes on that hole, and I think it is a great finishing hole. The other thing it kind of does is in the earlier rounds, it kind of lets guys pop right back up into the fold. Guys, you might have been a little bit of a slow round today, get that eagle in 18, turn your round around just like that, and pop right back up into that kind of the notable spots. Some of the storylines going into this event, Gannon or Calvin, who's going to get the 3 elite wins first? One of them is going to. I can almost guarantee it. It feels like it's hard to. Hard to go the rest of the season without one of those guys picking up another win on the Pro Tour. And can Calvin pick it up? Can Gannon go back to back? They both have, I think, a great chance out here. I would give the slight edge to Calvin. I don't think Gannon's kind of throw style fits as well here. I think you need a little bit more of the hyzer flip game, and I'm not saying Calvin or Gannon either are necessarily hyzer flip players, but I think Calvin has it with those eagles a little bit more than Gannon does. I don't know if you can, on some of the holes you can't just hit everything on pure anhyzer like Gannon likes to do. So, but can someone else get to 2 wins? We've seen a couple other guys pick up wins. Adam Jimenez, Kyle Klein, Simon hasn't. Can we see one of those guys get up to their second win, tie Calvin and Gannon? Or will we see someone, pop up at their first one of the year? Who knows? I think this is a big kind of turning point in the season where another guy gets up into 2 wins. They kind of bring themselves into that talk for player of the year potentially. I know it's still a long shot. Calvin is a pretty solid advantage right now, but bring yourself up there, or can Calvin kind of run away with it a little bit more? I think this is a pretty pivotal point in the season. So this is a pretty pivotal event before we head over to some other spots. So and then Kristen, going to a place where Paige has won a couple of times, Paige has won last year. Will Kristen kind of stay dominant? Can Paige jump back into the win category? It's gonna be interesting to see. Something that Foundation noted was Paige was talking about how she wants to go out and really be that competitor, and then final round, hole 5, she lets the gallery pick her disc and then she throws it in the water. We're getting kind of incongruent messages from Paige of what she's telling us and what we're seeing. So if her head's not in it, then that's her prerogative, but I think she owes it at least to her fans to kind of put her best effort out there on the course. So looking at predictions, we are going to start with let's start with MPO. Predictions, we got Calvin Heimberg, Simon Lizotte, and Nico LaCastro, with Albert Tom as my dark horse. I talked about it a little bit, but we've seen these 3 guys have success here before. Nico winning this event, notably a few years back. I don't see any reason why these guys can't be into the top 3. There are a lot of guys that can be into the top 3. I think this course plays pretty fair, even though it's a big open course. I think it plays pretty fair for a lot of arm speeds. Last year we saw Bradley Williams take it down, of course, slower arm speed, more finesse-based game. So I think really this can play well for anyone, but those 3 guys especially, I think, can really attack this course. On the FPO side, guess who? Kristen Tarr in first, Paige Pierce in second, and Ella Hansen in third. My dark horse is going to be Kona Montgomery. She's got a good arm. I think this course plays well kind of for her style, with those water carries. She can play it a little bit safer than some of the other people. And looking for Kona, I want to root for Kona. I want her to really bounce back this year. So just a quick update on power rankings, because we did have DMC, of course. On the MPO side, Calvin stays at 1, Gannon stays at 2, Isaac stays at 3, Eagle stays at 4, Ricky stays at 5. Kyle Klein is going to move down, and moving up into 6th place is Mr. Anthony Barella. And then after that, we got Kyle Klein, Simon Lizotte, James Proctor, and Ezra Aderhold. On the FPO side, we have Kristen Tatar, Missy Gannon, Holland Hanley, Owen Scoggins, and Kat Murch, rounding out the 5th spot. FPO has been a little bit tough. Where do I put Paige? Because she goes out and wins an event and then loses the next one by 16 strokes, and so it's a little bit tough to place her right now. But I just don't know if I can put her in the top 5 after losing so badly to Kristen this weekend. Alrighty, that is going to wrap up our show. Thank you as always for joining me. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas regarding future episodes, or anything like that, please drop in the comments down below. I love to read some of your guys' comments, some of your thoughts on the event, stuff like that. So I will see you guys probably next week. I think next week I'm going to try to do that episode of kind of a recap of what my predictions were early in the year. I think that'd be kind of fun to do and kind of see where we rank. Let's see, what events do we have coming up after Preserve. Let's give me the schedule here. So we've got Preserve. After that, we have the Kansas City Wide Open, and then we head over to Europe. So we got Preserve, then we've got a little bit of a break, the 2-week break in terms of actual full Pro Tour events. But I'm really excited for us to get over to Europe. I really do love those courses. They're so unique. So we'll head over to Europe. We got Sula, then European Open, and then we'll be back. So yeah, I think next week we're not going to do a Kansas City Wide Open dedicated episode, but we will do a review of my preseason predictions. So thank you as always for joining. Go follow us on Twitter especially. I'd love to interact with some of y'all, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Sprechen Disc Golf.